Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we have a delicious southern recipe for you that is surprisingly good for you. You will not believe it. This is our version of collard greens and sweet potato soup and you will not want to miss this one, so stay with us. Okay, so I have 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef that I have just browned. I went ahead and did that ahead of time just so we could kind of get things moving. And I browned it with 1 tablespoon of avocado oil. You can use olive oil. This is not a high heat kind of thing. I just like the avocado oil because it's good for you. It's not a seed oil. And it also doesn't add any additional flavor in your dish. We're going to do all that on our own. So now I have 1/2 of an onion, and I'm using red onion. You can use whatever you have on hand. And then I have 1 medium sweet pepper and 2 medium raw sweet potatoes that I've just all diced up to about the same size. And don't worry, we got a good little simmer time on this, so those sweet potatoes, they're gonna get nice and soft and add a creamy texture to this soup. So I love soups that have good protein because soup is an easy way to get your vegetables. So we're just going to let that onion sweat a bit and let those potatoes cook down over about medium to high heat just for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so we have just sweated those onions just until they've softened for about 5 minutes. And you know, the potatoes, they need liquid to cook. So now we're gonna add in our other flavor components. We have 1 can of drained and rinsed black-eyed peas, and those are going in. I'm telling you, this is the South in a pot right here. We're adding everything but the cornbread. All right, so we get that good and stirred in. Now we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons of your favorite Cajun seasoning, whatever that may be. And then 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. That smoked paprika will help flavor everything and accentuate the Cajun seasoning that we put in here. Now we want to add just about 1 teaspoon of salt. And I did not salt the meat when I browned it. And then about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And then we want to add in about 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. That Cajun seasoning already has some smoky flavors and some garlic, but we're adding just a little bit more because once we put our collards in and those black-eyed peas, they need just a little bit more to kind of jazz them up a bit. All right, now we're still cooking over medium heat here, and I'm gonna add in 4 cups of chicken broth. Now we're just gonna allow this to come to a boil. Then we'll reduce our heat just to a simmer, and we'll let it simmer for 15-20 minutes just until these sweet potatoes are fork tender. Then we'll come back and we'll add the collard greens and let them cook for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then we'll be ready to eat. But we'll be back in just a minute to add those collard greens, so stay tuned. Okay, we have let this simmer for about 15 minutes. So let's see if one of our thick sweet potatoes is fork tender, and it is. Just as tender as, I mean, you don't want it mushy naturally because it's got a little bit longer of a cook time, but you should be able to just stab your fork in it pretty easy without it falling apart. That's my version of fork tender. So we're gonna give that a mix. Now I have 4 cups of collards that I have just pulled apart. You need to cut them or do whatever, however you like them. And then I've washed them really well and drained them in my salad spinner. So we're just gonna put all 4 cups of those collards in. Collards are a lot like spinach. It's gonna look like a lot. It's gonna look like too much, right? But it's not. It's gonna cook down. And we're just gonna help them along and kind of get them folded in to that soup mixture. And I like just to take my spurtle here and just kind of push them in, and see they're already starting to wilt. But collards are hardy green, so they do need, you know, another 20 minutes. Even though they'll start to wilt once we get them in this hot liquid, we do still want a good 20-minute cook time on it. Now I'm still simmering, so we're just gonna allow this to simmer with those collard greens in there so they can soak up all that pot liquor and all that flavor. And then our sweet potatoes will continue to cook on down, and then we'll be back to have a bite. A cooled bite, mind you, but stay with us. Okay, everybody, we finished that final 20-25 minute cook time for those collards to get nice and tender, and we are ready. I've even put some in a bowl and let it cool just so that I wouldn't burn my mouth wide open on camera. So let's take a look. It's gorgeous. I can't wait for you to see it. This is the South in a pot. You've got your nice protein of that lean ground beef in there, coupled with those black-eyed peas, Southern, collard greens, Southern again, and sweet potatoes that kind of round everything out and add a little sweetness and deliciousness to this nice soup. So I'm gonna get a big old spoonful with everything on it and that broth. And the sweet potatoes cook down just enough so that they added a little silky texture, but they're still nice and whole as a whole in here. So let's give it a taste. Oh, I love collard greens, okay? But I'll just be honest with you, this is probably my favorite way to have them. Just delicious. I mean, that sweet potatoes are my favorite. Nice, creamy texture, add some sweetness to the dish, and you get protein. I can't think of a better way to get all of the food groups all in one place, because you are getting some carbs from those black-eyed peas, but they add also that creamy texture to the soup. It's just fantastic on a cool day. It's soul warming. Heck, you can make this even on a warm day and it's still very good. So this recipe, like all of our others, can be found over at thebutteredhome.com. We're real proud of our website. Everything there is free to you. You can print this nice free printable recipe card. We work real hard on that, so we would really appreciate any visits that you give us over there. And this recipe's there, plus tons of others. We have all the South that you want there. So make sure you give us a visit. Also, make sure you're following us on all of our social channels. We have a really good time. You never know when we're going to pop in your social media feed, and we would love for you to follow us and be with us wherever we are. If you like this video and want to have all of our videos in one convenient place, head over to YouTube, search for The Buttered Home, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell so that you can be notified whenever we drop new videos like this one. This soup is just comfort food at its finest. We hope that you'll try it and love it as much as we do. And I love feedback, so send me a message. There's tons of ways you can do that, either on social media or at our website, and let me know if you made it and how you liked it too. From all of us here at The Buttered Home to your home, we sure love y'all. Bye.